Hi, I'm Colin Fassnidge and I'm here today at the delicious Bake Club. Now I'm a little bit different, so today I'm not doing sweet, I'm doing savoury. So I challenge you to make my pork belly sausage roll. So of course this is my recipe, so it's not an ordinary recipe, it's a deluxe recipe. It's pork belly, fragrant herbs, apple, everything good that you want to eat, so I challenge you to make it. Let's go. Okay, capsicum jam. Great accompaniment to the pork roll. It's got that acidity and it's got the sweetness. What you do is you start with your cinnamon stick, your star anise. I like to just get them in the pan, get my oil in there just so you start to release the oils. You just want to fry it till you can smell it. Then what I do is I add my capsicum, it's been chopped up, let that soften a little bit. Get your seasoning in right at the start so it envelops. Then you add your SRIRACHA. This gives you a beautiful little hot kick. You can leave this out if you want. You don't have to have it, but I think it adds to the dish. Sugar. This is going to bind it all together when it cooks down. So to counteract the sugar, you need the red wine vinegar. So you're going for that whole sweet and sour sort of effect. You're going to cook this down for 15 to 20 minutes. Or until it reduces by half and it gets sticky and jammy. Okay, we've been simmering for 15 to 20 minutes. We've reduced by half. It's got nice and jammy. Just let me have a little taste. Spot on, perfect, even if I say so myself. So it's got that sweetness, it's got that bit of vinegar, bit of heat from the sriracha, and this will go perfect with my pork belly sausage roll. So what I suggest we do now is we let this cool and it all sort of gets a bit more jammy and compacted and it goes really well cold with the sausage roll. Okay, for our sausage roll filling, first of all, we need onion. I like it quite chunky, you don't want it too fine. This is perfect, we've got our onion that goes in. Gonna add our olive oil, get all that seasoning through it. Pepper, garlic, you never go wrong with lots of garlic. So just let that sweat nice and slowly. Sage, onion, garlic, just says sausage roll to me. Pork, sage, marriage made in heaven. So you just want to chop it roughly. Oregano, plus it gives you that beautiful green tinge when you cut into the sausage roll. You can smell that sage and the herbs really coming out now, it's beautiful. I'm going to add my fennel seeds, toasted fennel seeds, give you a beautiful aniseed flavour. It's already smelling like my mother's kitchen. So we're breaking down our onion, our garlic, our sage, our oregano and our fennel. You probably want 4 to 5 minutes until it softens and really releases its sugar from the onion. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cool it and then we're going to add that to our pork belly mix. But make sure it's cool so it doesn't start to cook the pork belly mix. Okay, pork belly time. What you need to do is find a good quality pork mince from a local butcher. I actually know a good butcher. So Anthony Baharich gave me this mince. And always Australian pork, support our local farmers, yeah? We've got our pork mince here, we've got our onion, our sage, our garlic, dried apple, so it's not gonna leach into it. Salt and pepper, get that in there now. 2 egg yolks. Now, controversial, I'm gonna use my hands. Yeah, you've gotta get in there and work it. So you wanna squeeze it. So you're getting all that apple and you can start to smell the sage now coming through. So as you can see, that's all incorporated now. And what I'm going to do now is just chill that for 5 minutes before I mold it and roll it in the pastry. And wash my hands, of course. Okay, now it's time to build our sausage roll. So good quality puff pastry. Life's too short to be making puff pastry in my house. I buy it. Nothing wrong with that. So you've got your good quality pork mince. What I like to do is spoon it on. So you want to make a cylinder with no real air gaps because you want it nice, and when you cut into it, you want that full sausage. Go right to the end. You don't mind if it pops out at the end. Then what you want to do is get your egg wash just to seal it. So this is going to lock in your pastry. And then where the name comes from, you roll. So what you want to do is just tuck in your meat. And you want an overlap of pastry because that's what's going to stick it together. And then maybe just give it a little press down. There you go. That's your sausage roll. Just before it goes in the fridge, give it an egg wash. So what you do is you let your egg wash go dry, and then when you bake it, you get a nice shine on the crust. Then what I do is a little bit of rock salt, some toasted fennel seeds. These add a great little taste when you bite into it. You got a little bit of crunch, a little bit aniseed. So now this is going on a tray into the fridge. We'll just let it sit. We'll get our oven up to temperature, and then we're going to bake. Okay, so I've just taken my sausage roll out of the fridge. It just sort of sets them a little bit and helps you sort of roll it a bit better, and I can cut them into shape now just before I bake them. I'm just going to trim the edges off, just that excess pastry, cut them in half, and then in half again. Now to cook, little chef's secret tip. So you've got your baking paper on a wire rack, but the best thing to do is pierce some holes in the actual baking paper where you're going to put the sausage roll. Because sometimes the liquid leaches out, and you don't want that liquid to give you a soggy bottom. You want it nice and crisp, so you want that liquid to drip through. Space them out so the air in the oven gets between them. Now I'm going to bake them in the oven 190 degrees for 35 minutes, or golden brown and just bursting. You know, that meat and that fluid is just bursting out. Okay, so my sausage rolls have just come out of the oven. I like to give them a rest for about 10 minutes because you want that flavour just to sink in. You don't want to break it open and it steams dry. You still want it quite moist. Here's the test. So it's crumbly. Look, you can see the apple. You can see the sage. It's moist. A little bit of the sauce. Some might even say it's delicious. Perfect. Sage, sweet and sour, crispy. It's everything you want in a pork sausage roll. And I'm glad to be the first savoury to the delicious bakeclub. Okay, I've showed you my recipe, my pork belly sausage roll. Now it's your turn. Join us at the delicious bakeclub. Head to the website, make the dish, and don't forget to send us a pic. Good luck.